Hey, we are live. Wow, here we are again. Welcome, welcome everybody to another Monday night Tilt Hangout, Total Inspired Living Tribe. That's what that acronym means. And this is where we get real and we get raw about the very bare essentials to being a success and achieving your dreams, your goals, your happiness. We're not out here to pussyfoot around and paint everything as a pretty picture. We're here to get down into the real nitty-gritty of what's going on, why some of you have hit a stumbling block, why you can't get over that next hurdle. Ultimately, we want the success for all of you, so we try and bring you value every week. In fact, we do bring you value. And wow, tonight's topic, well, let's just say I could talk about this forever, but I can't. So, because I got to give everybody a chance. But it ranks right up there, in my opinion, with the top three of how-tos on becoming successful. Whether it's in your own personal life or whether it's in your business life, every person listening to us tonight needs to hear these words, what we're going to talk about, and more importantly, you need to live these words. The other thing I would say at this time is that I don't think there's probably anybody watching this right now that has not experienced any kind of negativity in their life when they've been trying to achieve what they consider their dream, whether it's been from a teacher or a boss or a business partner or a sibling, a parent, a spouse. I mean, we've all had this happen. And if you're not holding your hand up saying, yes, I have, then I can only assume that you grew up in a herd of unicorns because they're the only ones that spew rainbows out their mouth and out their rear end and everything's happy and wonderful, which is not the real world. So we are going to get into it tonight. So this is called Run Your Own Race. It's not about how anyone else thinks. End of story, right there. So who else? I'm sure we've all experienced this on the panel, but who'd like to jump out and tell the audience a bit about their story and how they've experienced it and how they've gotten over these hurdles?
Nettie, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great, Shirley. Yep.
Awesome. Well, I just first want to say, Nettie, you just inspired me so much by helping me run my own race, inspiring me to run the path that I've chosen and to not give up. You've been there every bit of the way, and you do so much work behind the scenes every week for our hangouts to make this happen. I just want to take a moment to appreciate you. This is a topic that's really close to my heart. I'm going to get right into it. I've taken some notes because running my own race has really been, when I first found out that I had a choice, it really changed my life. So if you can take anything away from tonight, know this, that you can choose at any moment to change your life, to run a different race, because we're all here. We only have one life. That's what we're here for. So, guys, running your own race is hard. It's not easy. And the hardest step that you'll ever take is the beginning. When you first branch off from that rat race that everyone else is on, that is so comfortable, and it's surrounded by all the people you love, for a race that is your own, that no one else understands, it's challenging. There are pretty much two races in life that you can pick from that greatly determine the quality of your experience in this one life that you've been given. There's the rat race. Like I explained before, it's the race that is comforting and, it's familiar. It's a race that everyone else is on, not because they want to win, but because everyone else is doing it. On a rat race, you're just concerned about the way you look, the things you have, and what other people are thinking or saying about you. And that you think by just keeping up with the Joneses, by just fitting in, that's where you'll find fulfillment. And guys, it was the race that I was on unknowingly for the first 16 years of my life. of trying to be a normal Amish girl, find my place as that modest, quiet woman, shutting my mouth, not trying to be different and unique. And it was hard because at first I hated that I was so different from everyone. I grew up without a mom. I didn't have any siblings. And that just really made it impossible for me to be invisible and to fit in because everyone knew who I was and I felt like a freak. So when I stopped trying so hard to fit in and be a part of that race, which for me, my rat race was being that perfect Amish woman of not speaking up. But when I stopped trying so hard to fit into that mold, a seed of desire and of longing just grew within me. And it was so strong that at 16 and a half, it overpowered me. That longing to run my own race, to not compete against anyone else but myself, to push my limits and see how far I could go and how much I could better myself, the longing to design my own life and find my place in the world, that's the race that I chose to run. And I picked this second, I don't know if you call it a second race, twice. So the first time was, leaving my Amish world and everything I'd ever known into a new world. And then there was the second rat race that I began to experience in this new world, and that was getting my schooling, getting a degree, getting a job, climbing up the ladder, whatever corporate ladder was there. And I decided that I didn't like that rat race either. And I found that all the friends I made after I left the Amish, the same as my Amish family, they could not understand why I would leave the normal rat race to be an entrepreneur and to go against traditional thinking and to go after my dreams. And I had to choose my own race twice. I faced it all. I felt the hate from the people that I loved, and I knew that I was risking it all for this one idea that I had, that running my own race was my path to fulfillment. My own aunt, I remember when I first made that choice that I was going to run my own race, my aunt told me that she would rather see me dead than to ever see me again. And to me, that showed me the seriousness of the decision I was making, and I realized not to take it lightly. I was told I was going to go to hell, and I had to really question myself if I'm going to commit to running this race. Am I going to go back to the normal, comfortable rat race, or is it worth it to risk it all? When I started on my path of internet marketing with blogging and doing videos, I didn't even know how to turn on a computer. I was told I'd never make it, and sometimes I felt like there was just no use trying anymore. I second-guessed myself many times being on this race. I thought day in and day out, how am I supposed to believe in myself and be authentic and be me when I didn't even know who that was? I grew up, and that wasn't a frame of mind that I was, I just had no access to that way of thinking. I didn't know how to be me, because being me felt fake again. It felt like I was in a rat race of authenticness, if that's even the word. So the answer to all this, guys, was I found a home where running your own race is applauded and not mocked. I found how I can run my own race with other people and not because of them. Not keeping up with the Joneses race. And that home is right here with the Tilt team, which we call Totally Inspired Living Tribe. The answer to that question I said earlier, how am I supposed to believe in myself when I didn't even know who that was, is find a home where people can believe in you until you can believe in yourself. If you've ever been convicted that you need to start running your own race and designing your own life, then now is the time to run with us. It's time to run your race alongside the people who are running theirs. No matter if you're just at the race or if you've already won, meaning you've gained the fulfillment and the freedom, there will be people here at every level who believe in you until you can, again, believe in yourself. They'll pick you up when you want to throw your computer out the window. And trust me, that's happened. And Nettie was there for me. And Erica was there for me. Those two ladies that you see at the bottom of the screen have been there for me every step of the way. And Zen and Sherry, I've gotten the pleasure to get to know very recently, and now they're here for me too. Guys, these are the women. This is the tribe that will give you a hand up when you fall, when you're on your race and you fall, but not a hand out, because this is your race and you have to choose to run it by yourself. It's time for you to run towards your freedom and stop running away from your fears. It's time for you to win this race that's called life before the timer runs out and you don't get to run anymore. There's no choice, because the game of life, the run of life, or the race, the race of life is over. So it's time for you to right now decide to win. And your first step is to click the link below and get started. We'll see you inside, and we'll see you at the top, because you deserve to be there and you deserve to win, because this is your life. I'm not on the Hangout thread at all. I don't know if there's any questions, but I'm just going to hand it back over to you, Nettie. If you can see there's any questions, let me know. But I want you to take away from tonight that at any moment you can choose. Like I said in the beginning, you can choose to run a different race.
Oh, Shirley, you know, I say this every week that you talk because I know how old you are. And you're a heck of a lot younger than me. These ladies could be your mom. I could be your grandma. But the point is, I try and put myself back into the age when I was your age. Nowhere near had the wisdom that you have. Nowhere. Be so proud of yourself, girl. You run a race like nobody I know. And yeah, you're right. We're all here for you. We all love you to death. And the rest of the team does too, the ones that aren't being shown on here right now. But thank you for those words. Man, they were from the heart. Thank you. So, hey, I'm going to move on right now to another beautiful lady on our tribe. This lady hasn't been around for a few weeks, and she's had family responsibilities that she had to get to. Stuff that, I just adore doing, like she was moving, 3 times. What? Who the hell likes moving? Nobody. But anyway, she's made it on tonight for us, and thankfully so glad to see you back with us, Sherry. So tell us what you've got to say about all of this.
Oh, thank you so much, and I never want to move again. I just want to say that. I was thinking exactly what you were, Nettie, when Shirley was talking. I mean, if I would have been that wise at her age, I'd be in a completely different place now. So you inspire me too, Shirley. I love it. When I was thinking about this topic, one of the things that kept popping up in my mind was I remembered seeing this interview, and it's an old interview with Oprah Winfrey, and I think she was being interviewed by Larry King. And it was way back in the day that her talk show was really successful, and there were a lot of other talk shows that were modeling her formula. And the question that he asked her was, does it worry you, all of these people, catching up to you or copying your formula? And she just looked at him and she said, Larry, the effort that it takes for me to turn around and even see where they are slows me down. I'm running my own race. I'm driving my own ship. And that forever changed how I looked at a lot of things, both in business and in my personal life, because up until that point, and I'm not going to say I've never done it since, because I have, but up until that point more so, it's that I had such uh, little belief and conviction in what I thought I knew for me and what was true for me, that I was allowing other people's influence to send me off course all the time. It's I'd second guess, oh, they are more successful than I was, so they must know better than I do. And I know a lot of people, and a lot of people in my practice that are doing that exact same thing. It's like they go along for a while thinking that they've got this vision, and then somebody else comes in from the side. And sometimes it's just negativity and people just want to squash your dreams, but more often it's that they think they know a better way or a shortcut or something else. And then it's really easy to just say, oh, they must be right. I'm just going to go off of my track and onto this other track. And all that does is keeps you confused and it slows you down. So it is super important, if you are going to create the life and the business that you really want to create, the relationship, the bank account, the whatever it is, it's extremely important that you get clear about what's true for you. And it's important to understand that there is no true for everyone. There is only true for you. And one of the ways that is really practical and easy to figure out how do I even know what's true for me is to start tapping into the wisdom of your body. Like if you get out of your head and you just kind of drop your awareness down, like imagine you're taking an elevator down into your heart center, and just feel into your body and just take a moment and notice what's happening in your body. Is there any tension? Is there, an expansion happening in your body? Like just notice where your body is right now in this moment. And then I want you to say to yourself, and pay attention to what happens in your body, because your body is going to communicate with you, and sometimes it's really a strong communication, but sometimes it's just a feather whisper, so you need to pay attention. Repeat to yourself, my body loves to drink paint thinner. And notice what happens in your body, because I have never met a person on the planet that is a truth for. So that's a lie in your body. That's not true for you. So notice what happened in your body. For me, it's almost like my solar plexus is my halfway house, and it almost feels like a knot or a rock or a contraction in the pit of my stomach. For some people, it just may be a flutter. It just may be an awareness. They may see the flash word no in their mind. Whatever that is your no. Now pay attention to your body again and repeat to yourself, my body loves to drink fresh spring water. And notice what that feels like in your body. For me, it's almost like from my solar plexus, it feels like it feels like an expansion in my chest. For some people, it may be that they see light. For some people, they may see the word yes. For some people, it just may feel like an opening. It may feel like a relaxation. It doesn't matter what the feeling is. It just matters that you learn how your body communicates with you, because that's how you can use the wisdom of your body to stay on your own truth, to stay on your own track. So when you're looking at making a choice in your life, or you're making a choice in your business, you can start asking the question, okay, if I choose this, what's this going to do to my life? It's going to contract or it's going to expand? It's going to feel like a yes, it's going to feel like a no. Is this going to expand my business if I choose this? Is this going to expand my money flows if I choose this? What's my life going to feel like in 5 years if I choose this? So you can start just tapping in, and the more you do that, the easier it is for you to read the yeses and nos for you. And that's the truth for you. Your truth isn't anybody else's truth, and somebody else's truth isn't your truth. So ask questions about your life, follow the lightness of your life, follow the expansion of your life, and more of that will show up, more of that will show up, more of that will show up. And I can't tell you the number of times that I've gone way off track, only to come right back full circle and realize that that just was never true for me, and I always knew it, and I chose it anyway. It's like I tried to convince myself that their way was better, or that they had a quicker answer, or that they had some solution that I couldn't figure out myself. And here's the truth. You know everything there is to know for you. You've got access to everything there is to know for you. And now you've got a practical, easy tool that says, this is how I access that. And if you're having trouble reading that yes, no in your body, just stand up with your feet under you, your knees soft, and ask those same questions. Ask a question that you know is the truth for you. And notice if your body moves. For me, quite often, my body will start to tip forward for a yes, or it'll push back for a no. For some people, they'll go sideways. For some people, they'll move around a little bit. Just notice how your body communicates with you. And also, every time you do like a question and answer session with yourself, calibrate that, because even though 95% of the time my yes is a push forward, there's 5% of the time that it's not. And I have no idea why that is. It just is. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of practical how-to, and, you know, the wisdom of Oprah Winfrey. The act of turning around just to see where other people are slows you down. Slows you down. Run your own race. Be you. Be authentically you. Just like Shirley said, I mean, she's wise beyond her years, this one, and when you are not authentically you, it is never going to be fulfilling. You will achieve what you think it is that you wanted to set out to achieve, and it's going to feel empty because it's not authentically what you really wanted. So tap into you, be you, believe in you like I believe in you. What do you know about that, Zen? I think you know a lot about that.
I think you're pretty special, Sherry. You always make me dive into my head and dive into my gut and everything else, and it's like, you know, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I never took any kind of courses like that at school or whatever, so when I hear you talk about this, it makes me self-examine myself. And that's a good thing. I think we all need to do that. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate what you bring to this, and I'm sure somebody got that. And I was a definite no on drinking paint thinner, so I guess I'm okay, you know. But yeah, so you know, just a few things to add to what both you and Shirley have said is the fact that with me looking at running your own race, I mean, you out there, you all have to accept the fact that you can't keep everyone happy. You can't make everyone like you. You never will win over every critic. You never will. Even if you changed and did everything different that they asked, some people would still find fault. You're not really free until you're free from trying to please everyone. I want you to be respectful and be kind, but you're not living to please people. You're living to please the universe and yourself. So, if people don't understand you, that's okay. If some of them get upset because you don't fit into their mind, don't worry about it. If you lose a friend because you won't let that person control you, then you didn't need them anyway, because that person, they weren't a true friend. They really weren't. Instead of running our races, we often make decisions based on superficial things. You know, I remember I heard this. I can't even remember where I heard it, but it's always stuck in my head about somebody said that at 20, this would be you, Shirley, we wonder what everybody thinks about us. And at 40, this is the rest of you girls, we don't care what anybody thinks about us. And at 60, we realize nobody was thinking about us. So it's all good. It's all good, you know. Don't worry about it. But
Oh my
I do
gosh.
remember reading an interesting report that a nurse put out. She took care of people that were close to death. And she asked hundreds of patients facing death what their biggest regret was. And the number one, was I wish I had been true to who I was and not just lived to meet the expectations of others. I wonder how many people today are not being true to who they are because they're afraid they may disappoint someone, they may fall out of their good graces, or maybe you won't be accepted. And I really say this respectively to you, but you can't live the life you were created if you think you're going to try to be who your parents wanted you to be, or who your friends want you to be, or who your boss wants you to be. You have to be true to who God made you to be. Um, I kind of remember learning this when I was a young mom. And between you and me, I had a mom who, and personally, I think being a mother, whether it's to kitties or to fur babies, it is probably the number one wonderful job in the world. And it's so important because we do shape the children and the fur babies that we take care of. We just do. So I remember my mom, and quite frankly, probably if I had had to pick a career for her, it would have been a drill sergeant, because that's what she was like. I mean, I don't really remember having fun in my world as a kid, and I was adopted, and I did get told that, wished I had never gotten you, which, like Shirley when she talked about going to hell, those are such negative things to us that, it's wonder we can even turn out the way we do turn out, but we do. That's what I meant by you can take a negativity and make it a positive if you really want to. But Mom was one of those ones that, I could never have a sleepover. I couldn't go to a sleepover because Lord knows we might stay up till late in the night and get into mischief or something. And I couldn't play music. I couldn't have friends over. I don't ever remember spending a day with Mom like just going shopping or going to get her nails done or something like that. Her fun was kind of like clean the house and garden. It wasn't fun. And I would go to bed at night and I would think, when I have kids, and I'm sure all of us have done this, boy, when I have kids, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do it different. And guess what? I did. When I had my kids, I'm telling you, our house was like a flop house. There was a swinging door on the front door. Kids were coming and going all the time. There was always commotion going on. There was always jibber jabber. There was always girls squiggling and giggling, and the boys were always rough, tough, and nasty. And the sleepovers happened. When they were in their teens, I'd get up in the morning and trip over kids because the kids knew that they could flop at our place. There was a lot of respect for everybody in the house. And at one point, she came to visit me, my mom, and it had been one of those days where it was very chaotic and there was tons of kids around and Mom, can you take me here, and Mom, can you do this and that and the other thing, and it was all just good and fun. But she said to me, she looked at me, and there was a quiet moment that happened, and she looked at me and she said, wow, you sure didn't raise your kids like I raised you. And I looked her square in the eye and I said, yep, I know I didn't, and they've turned out pretty damn good, didn't they? And I had run my own race with my kids, and it felt so great. The universe doesn't want us to be an imitation of somebody else. You should be the original. You were created to be an original. There is an anointing of your life, an empowerment, not to be somebody else, but to be you. I don't look to the left, and I don't look to the right. I run my own race. I don't try and compete with anyone else. I don't let people control me, and I don't go around feeling guilty because I don't fit into their boxes. I don't get upset because of something negative that's said about me. Sometimes that can be difficult, but you can get over it. I look straight ahead and I run with a purpose every step. So now that you're going to run your race, guess what? Everybody's going to have an opinion about you. People are going to tell you how to run your life. They have opinions on what you should wear, what you should drive, how you should spend your money, raise your kids, and whether or not you should go into business for yourself. That's a huge one. So if you try and please everyone, I can guarantee you one thing, 100%. You will be confused, you will be frustrated, and your life will be miserable. I live by the motto, yeah, I do. Everyone has a right to an opinion, and I have a right not to listen to it. If what others say doesn't match what God has put in my heart, I let it go in one ear and right out the other ear. So, okay, here's a story. This man, he fell into a pit, and while he was down there, several people came by and offered their opinions. And the hypocrite said, "You deserve to be in the pit." And the Catholic said, "You need to suffer while you're in the pit." And the Baptist said, this is hilarious, "If you'd been saved, you wouldn't have fallen into the pit." And the Charismatic said, "Just confess I'm not in the pit." The mathematician said, "Let me calculate how you fell into the pit." And the IRS agent said, "Things could be worse." And the optimist said, "Things will get better." And the pessimist said, "Things will get worse." See, everybody has an opinion. If you try to keep every person happy, the one person that will not be happy is you. So sometimes those who try to run your life and tell you what to do and what you can't do, they can't even run their own lives, much less yours. Your time is way too valuable to worry about pleasing everyone else or making them happy. I know people who spend more time worrying about what others think about them than they do focusing on their own dreams and goals. You've got to get free of that. Shirley touched on that. Get free of it. If you are going to do anything great in life, if you're going to be a great teacher, a great athlete, a great parent, a great winner, a great entrepreneur, not everyone will cheer you on. Your destiny is too great to get distracted trying to win over people who are never going to like you. And don't take it personally. It's not about you. It's about the favor that the universe has put on your life. It stirs up mammoth jealousy in them. It just does. And until they deal with it, nothing you can do will change it. You might as well just shake it off, run your race, because no matter how good you are to them, they'll still find a fault. No matter how much you try and show them kindness, they will still find some reason to be critical. It's kind of like the country grandfather I heard. He took his son into town his grandson, pardon me, into town one day on a donkey. And he started off letting the grandson ride on the donkey, and he walked along beside of it. And he heard somebody pass by and say, "Look at that selfish little boy riding on the donkey while that old man has to walk." So the grandfather heard it, and he took the boy off, and then he rode the donkey as his grandson walked along beside of him. Somebody else came along and said, "Look at that man making that little boy walk while he rides the donkey." Hearing that, the grandfather, he reached down and pulled the little boy up with him, and they both started riding the donkey. And in a few minutes, another person said, "How cruel of you guys, and the boy to share a place and make such a heavy load on top of that donkey." And by the time they got to town, the grandfather and the grandson were carrying the donkey. Because the point is that no matter what you do, you will never you will never please everybody. So you may as well accept that fact, even though when you do your best, the best you can, some are going to find fault with it. They just are. And that's okay. They have a right to have their opinions, and you have a right to ignore them. Quit letting others pressure you into being something that you're not. Quit that. Quit living on eggshells because you don't want to fall out of their favor. Don't do that. Quit feeling afraid that you don't perform perfectly. If you don't call on cue, if you come running when they ask, they'll be upset. But here's my message. Let them be upset. If you spend your life trying to please everyone and letting them control you, they may be happy, but you, my friend, you will end up missing out on your destiny. So if this is starting to resonate with you, there's one more analogy that I want that I've got to compare it to, and it's about airplanes. And I had read somewhere where there's 4 main principles to mastering when flying an airplane, and that is lift, thrust, weight, and drag. And when I thought about this, it stuck in my head that some of these principles could be related to certain types of people that we hang around with. Because there are those who lift you, those that brighten your day, cheer you up, make you feel better about yourself. You meet them and you have a spring in your step. They're a lift. And then there's people that thrust you. They inspire you, they motivate you, they challenge you to move forward and pursue your dreams. And the third group are weights. They pull you down, dump their problems on you so that you leave them feeling heavier, negative, discouraged, and worse than you did before. And finally, those are the people who are a drag. They've always got a sad song. The dishwasher's broke, the goldfish died, I'm not succeeding in my business. They're stuck in a pit. They expect you to cheer them up, fix their problems, and carry their loads. And if you're hanging out with weights and drags, your life will be like an episode of Guiding Light, Jersey Shore, and the Housewives of Atlanta, all rolled into one. Can't handle that. There's too much. There's too much drama there. You need to be around lifters, thrusters, people who inspire you and motivate you. And that is why so many people are drawn to TILT, Total Inspired Living Tribe. There's enough weights and drags in the world. TILT, we take you and we push you forward. If you get around us, we're going to lift you. We're going to encourage you. We're going to inspire you. We are going to do our best to leave you better than you were before. Take responsibility for your happiness. It's time to break free, and it is time to run your own race. So I hope this has resonated with you. I hope you felt it. As I said, I could have talked all night, but I can't. It's not fair, and we've got some other people that have great messages too. So Zen, come on out and tell us.
Wow, you know what? It's always such a pleasure to be here, and I'm so thankful I have all of you in my life, because really I listen and I hear something that just strikes me. And today I just want to, before I begin my Run Your Own Race rap, I want to talk to what Sherry said about Oprah, because anybody who really knows me knows that I love exotic cars, I love fast cars, I love to drive fast myself when I'm alone. But I always refer to myself as a Ferrari. I only have time to look in the rear views to see if cops are coming. That's it. Otherwise, I'm moving full speed ahead, and I have to watch the road. So whatever anybody else is doing, saying, I can't be a part of it. I have to keep going, because there's a curve up ahead, and I have to be able to maneuver that curve. So that's my analogy for myself. And Shirley, while listening to your story, I was like, oh, my goodness. This girl, no wonder why she has so much wisdom, the way that you grew up. And then the other part of me flipped to, I couldn't be a more polar opposite if there was one. I grew up in a family. My father's Italian. My mother's Irish. I'm from New England. That's a pretty common combo there. And I was the third kid. the third daughter. Okay, I was supposed to be a boy, Phil, and Lily. So I said to my father one day, I think I was around 6, and I had overheard this before, you know, when they had company. Oh, so what's it like you have 3 girls instead of getting that boy, you know? And I'd overhear this, and I'd think, huh, why would he want that over me? So I said to him one day, what is it that you would have taught a boy that you wouldn't teach me? I mean, it's not like you play baseball. It's not like you're, you know, a sportsman, you know. So what is it? And he said, well, you're right. What is it that I should withhold from you because you're a girl that I would give to a boy? And he had to stop and think about it. And from that point on, he just gave me all this information or things that I guess he was waiting to give a boy, but he gave to me. You know, how to handle money, how to handle this, that. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. And we were very close. In fact, very close. So when I became a hairstylist, one of the things that he wanted was for me to own a salon in Connecticut and stay in Connecticut. But I think you all know, maybe from another hangout or maybe from a post that I wrote, so maybe you don't all read my post, but when I was 8, they took me to California. And it was right around my birthday in October. And I'm outside playing, riding bikes. All the houses, the insides had open living rooms, dining rooms, kitchens, and I fell in love. I was like, oh my God, I'm moving here someday. And they said, oh, sure you are, honey. But no, I held that thought and that feeling of what it would be like to be here, to live out my life. And so when my father made that offer, I just said, as much as I'd love to, Dad, it's my race, my rules. And so I wrote that on my notes for today because it is your race. It is my race. And I have to run it my way. And especially if I want to be a Ferrari, if I want to maneuver it fast and still make the curves, you know, still take those curves that come along and maneuver them properly in life. And so I wrote Nettie on certain notes. So I just want to get into one of the things that when I was going to school for hypnotherapy, my mentor said to me, now, when you go out and you tell people and they say, what do you do? And you say, I'm going to hypnotherapy school. You're going to have people who say, that doesn't work. She goes, how are you going to respond? I said, I don't know. How should I respond? And she said, just say, okay. And I said, that's it? And she said, let them speak next. And if they want what you offer, they will ask more questions. If they don't, you've said okay, and you can maneuver into another part of the conversation because you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. It's your race, basically, your rules. And so I just took that to heart, and very, very few times did I ever have to actually use that line. Most people were intrigued, and I got, you know, some clients out of it. But the broken record works in many regards for personal, and I've used it in my personal life. I won't give that example because it's actually too funny. You'll be laughing too hard. But you can use it in your professional life when somebody questions you and says things like, network marketing doesn't work. Instead of getting challenging and saying, have you tried it? What did you do? Did you pursue it? Okay. Or come up with another line that you use as a broken record. Because I guarantee you, if they ask you 3 separate questions and you say, okay, or whatever that sentence is that you're going to use as your broken record, they'll move on to another topic because they'll know that they're not engaging you. You're saying exactly the same sentence. And you say it with a smile, without any rancor. There's nothing to feel anything about. It's their thing that they're trying to give to you. And if you are holding on to your dream, your race, your rules, you don't need to feel anything about it. It doesn't have to have meaning for you. You could just let them sit with it in their own field. And when I say field, I mean their own energy. That's them projecting something that they've either heard or experienced in their own life, and they want to throw it into your lap and see how you respond to it. And you don't have to. It's not your job to respond to everything. Which brings me to, you know, I'm going to go through my rules, but I wrote Nettie right next to this one. Because it's funny. I had a client in the other day, and one of the things that was big with her is that everyone in her office doesn't have the same work ethic as her. And I said, Are you the manager of these people? No. Does your paycheck reflect what they do or what you do? What I do. So whatever they do, it doesn't impact your job to get your separate job done. No. What is it about their work ethic you don't like? Well, they spend a lot of time wandering around or talking, and I said, but it doesn't impede your hearing on the phone so that you can get your work done. No. Does it affect your bonuses? No. Then it really is, and this isn't harsh, but it really is none of your business what other people are doing while you're doing your job, unless it directly affects you and where you're going. And your path, your race, is not affected, nor is your paycheck, by what they're doing. So that's what they're doing. You're doing what you're doing. Do what you do to excel for yourself. It has zero to do with what other people are doing. And the flip side of that is that most of the time, and surely this is, you know, people your age, Nettie, went through in your 20s, you're worried about what people are thinking. In your 40s, you're not so much. The truth is, people are so busy thinking about themselves and their own life and their own path and their own race that they really aren't giving all that much thought to yours and your race. So stay focused on your path. Now, I also, you know, I'm skipping around now because there's so much to say. And one of the things, and I can't remember who said it now, but, oh, Nettie, I think it was you. Only do things that will expand you. In other words, when I invest, and I invest in anything in this business that expands me, and anything for my hypnotherapy that expands me, because the more I expand there, the more I can expand here, the more I can give to you, the more I can give to anyone that comes and sees me, the more I can give to on a Skype session or an office session. And so I always look up things that I need to learn, do, see, to perfect my race, because those are part of my rules. I have to constantly be learning so that I can give more content, value, and things to others in terms of information and myself. So it upgrades myself, which helps to hand it over and upgrade you. Think rich thoughts. I wrote that down here, and this is not about cash. It's got zero to do with cash, in fact. Zero. In fact, the cash is the byproduct of the energy that you throw out there that is part of the rich thoughts that you think. So when you're sitting talking to anyone and watching anything, it's what part of this can I take in so I can give it to someone else in words that they understand. So that's why having 5 people on this panel, or 6 people, is so important, because some of my words might be framed in such a manner that it grabs somebody. The way that Nettie says something might grab somebody. Shirley's story, part of it, might really resonate with somebody out there who recently left the Amish. You know, there's just such a richness to hearing other people's stories that grab you, whatever that sentence is. And so the best that you can do is not compare yourself with others. Just be the best you, because on this panel, I guarantee you, whoever hits that join us now tonight under my name is somebody who's attracted to something that I said. It's a like-minded soul out there who resonates with what I'm saying right now, or during the content of this. Maybe they're a Ferrari too. Maybe they love exotic cars and that energy that you know I'm giving out right now. I don't know. Maybe they resonate with Shirley because she's young and she's a rebel, man. She was brought up in a way that just turned her out to be just perfect the way she is, as we all are. We're perfectly imperfect beings, and I love that about all. What else did I want to say? Oh, and I posted on Facebook today. Your #1 relationship is with yourself. And so, you know, when you say things like, this is my race and my rules, there's no harshness to it. There's no in your face, my race, my rules, no, but it is because you love yourself and you want to uplift yourself and others. That seems to feel like my #1 goal in life, is to uplift myself while uplifting others. What else is there to do. And all the other things that come as a byproduct of that just simply drift into life because I'm in relationship with myself. And when I'm not, I stop and take an assessment, kind of Sherry style. You know, where's the energy in my body? What am I feeling? Why? And how do I shift it up? That's where I go. And then I create a little bubble around myself while I'm doing that if I happen to be out in a crowd to do that. I can do it on my own at home anytime. But if I'm out and about and I feel that way, I just create a little bubble around myself and then start examining what's going on, what's happening, why am I feeling this in my body, what's going on with me. And then I can relate out there. Because sometimes we have these triggers, which takes me to one of my rules up here. Make peace with your past, whatever your past is, because where you're at and where you've been can and only will hold you back if you haven't made peace with your past in some manner. And however you need to do that, with the help of a hypnotherapist, somebody like Sherry who works with energy also, a regular therapist, work with yourself. Some people do it through religion. However you need to do it, you need to make peace with your past so that your number one relationship with yourself, there's nothing holding you back. There's no, you know, your self-love just grows, because when you grow your self-love, you grow your love for other people. When you grow and have compassion for yourself, you have more compassion for other people. The gentler you are with yourself, that's how you reflect out in the world. And everything is connected to everything. And today I watched a really brief video by Tony Robbins about self-confidence. And I was really struck by one of the things that he said, and it's not the first time you'll hear this, but I can tell you, and I thought, I can too, because, and it's not such a big thing, I mean, you all can too, but he can look around, he goes, I can tell your daily habits by scanning this crowd. I know who goes to the gym 4 or 5 days a week. I know who doesn't. I know who does, and he named a few different things that you could tell visually, and I can see that and feel that energy too. I can tell who's caught up in a habitual thing that's not really, it's procrastinating or it's just stuck in energy. I can see by scanning quickly who takes care of themselves, because it is all connected. So if you're working, and this is not a knock to anyone who's doing this, I'm simply asking you to examine, because it is your race and it is your rules, just like I have my rules. But if you're staying up until 2 and 3 in the morning, you're not taking care of your physicality, your body, working out, eating good foods, success has a narrow definition there, because the richness of life has everything to do with everything. And so I would urge you to take a look at all of that, because that's the energy that you want to bring out there to everyone else, is that you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your mind, your thoughts, and everything that goes into that temple that we call our body. And I could speak for hours on that topic, but I won't. I just want to throw out there, because that's part of that rule. Your relationship with yourself is number one. And so part of number one is this physical suit that we're wearing in this incarnation. And so taking care of that, getting enough rest, getting enough of the good foods, moving that body is so vitally important to stay connected with yourself and with the rich thoughts. It helps produce rich thoughts, and not about cash, about being the best version of yourself that you can be. Because when you're the best version of yourself that you can be, you will attract like-minded people who are doing exactly the same thing, taking care of the whole holistic ball of wax. And I think that's it. Oh, Tilt, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Totally Inspired Living Tribe, because what you see out here is the 5 women tonight. But we have a gigantic group with a lot of Kiwis, a lot of Americans, Canadians. It's an international team, and there's always someone online to help support any question that you have, anything that just pops up in your mind. There's always someone online who's caring and supportive that pops in there and just gives you a hint, a clue, a this, a that, an answer. And so you know, I find it very supportive, and that was a big issue for me. I like to do things on my own. I've always worked alone. You know, when you're a hairstylist, a hypnotherapist, you're in a room alone. You're with a chair, a person in a chair alone. It's all about you. And I don't mind that, but I like camaraderie. I like a community, and this community is like none other. So whoever brought you to this Tilt Hangout tonight, whether it was an email from me or an email from one of the other panelists, or you just saw it on Facebook and you decided, yeah, what the heck, I'll show up and see what they have to say. Click on that link and get started, because this is just part of the team that you'll see. And on that note, I think I'll pass it back to Nettie. Oh, I wanted to say one more thing, just one more. Whatever you're doing, don't overthink it too much. Don't overanalyze, because sometimes there is never a time when anything is totally ready. You're totally ready for anything. You know, I'll just tell you the quick story, you know, about having a kid. You know, I didn't have a kid until later in life, you know, because I was never ready. Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And then I came a day where I thought, either get ready right now or let's pass. And so I got ready real quick. But it's the same with anything else. If you overanalyze, overthink, you often just don't do. And so run your race. Pick your path. Make up your rules. Click on the link below, and or get in touch with whoever sent you here. And I'm going to pass it back to Nettie now.
Okay. Thanks, Zen. Okay. Isn't that what you said to do? Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Miss E. Okay, we're going to bring you on because I know you've got a powerful story too to...
Well, actually, I'm telling you know, I'm just so blown away. I'm going to save my story for another time because, you know, we do have this commitment, you know, to have this, you know, done by 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, guys, I don't think I really could add too much more to what's been said tonight. Every single week, I'm absolutely blown away by the incredible value that this panel brings. And I think this is the thing that really inspires me so much about our Totally Living Inspired Tribe. Every single person on this panel, every single person in our group is here to see you become the best version of you, to support you on your path so that you can run your own race as the most authentic version of yourself. And I think everyone on the panel tonight mentioned that so many times. This is about your race, and it's about you being authentic. Now, one of the things that can really, really hold us back from being authentic is what everyone discussed, worrying what other people think of us. Darlings, I have a book for you. I beg you, go out and get this book. This book will cure all of that, okay? We are doing a very, very quick book review, okay? Eckhart Tolle, okay? A New Earth. Listen to this. You're going to love this. Prepare for an amazing journey where life gets better and better. In today's rush, we all think too much, seek too much, want too much, and forget about the joy of just being. We worry about what other people think of us. We compare ourselves with our friends, families, and neighbors, and deep down we worry we're not good enough. Eckhart Tolle will give you the confidence to let go of fear, anxiety, and the eternal quest for more. Read this book and you will stop defining your life and start living it with true openness and freedom. Stop searching for happiness and you'll realize where it is, in those moments and feelings that you can't put into words. Find out who you truly are and change your life for the better forever. Darlings, I read this book. I was never the same again. I swear to God. I couldn't give a rat's ass what anyone thought of me after I read this book because I knew the truth. I knew how to slow down. I knew how to open my eyes. I understood the truth of what this beautiful universe has in store for us. What other people think of you does not matter. And trust me, everyone is going to have an opinion when you decide to do a business like this. Everyone. Your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your friends, the postman, the guy down the street, the guy at work. Everyone's going to have an opinion. Screw that. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the fact that you are taking action. You are taking life into your own hands. You're taking matters into your own hands, and you are making a difference in your world. Other people's opinions, they don't matter. Get this book, and that will bring it home. Darlings, I'm out. We are on top of the hour. I'm going to hand it back to Nettie to wrap up. Darlings, thank you so much for coming here every single Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We love you so much, and I think tonight we brought the value big time. Thanks, darlings. Thanks, ladies. Nettie, your microphone. Nettie, your microphone.
Yeah. Okay, here I am back again. Okay, I got to wrap this up. So the universe, it did not call you to be unhappy. It doesn't want you to waste your life trying to make somebody else happy. It just doesn't. Be kind, be compassionate, but run your own race. Remember, you don't need people's approval. I don't think we can say that enough. And on that note, one of the reasons I'm really excited is because at the end of this week, all of us, except for, unfortunately, Sherry, we're going to be in Orlando because it's our 3-year anniversary for Empower Network. We're having a huge event, and I am asking you now, run your race to get to Orlando if you can possibly get there. I understand if you've got rent to pay and you can't, you know, the money would either go to the rent or it would go to this. I get that. But if you're just doing it because, if you're not going because you're just being lazy or you're just, I don't need it or whatever, let me tell you, you do need it. You need to be there. Get there. Run your race. Be there. Be around us. You know, only good can come from all of this. Only good. And we would love to see you. Love to have you on our team. How do you get on our team? You click that Get Started button right below that you see on this Hangout. It will go to the person that invited you here, and you'll be on the team. You'll be hooked in with us. You'll get into our private Facebook group. You will be on your way to becoming a rock star and running your own race. So please do this. If you don't see the Get Started button, get a hold of the person that invited you by some way else. But reach out to us on Facebook. Doesn't matter. Just do it. Just do something, because you'll never run a race, like Shirley said, unless you take that first step. And if you want to kick somebody's ass, then run that first step. Get out there. Let's make your life worthwhile. Let's run your race. Everybody, take care. You know, if we see you in Orlando, we see you there. We would love to see you there. Please get there. But if not, we'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Don't know where everybody's going to be coming from. Maybe a hotel. But anyways, we'll be talking to you. Love y'all. Stay safe. Have a wonderful week. Take care of you for us. Okay? Bye.
Bye.